Hi, Paul here. Just a quick one. I thought I'd do a quick breakdown of the demo that I wrote for the relaunch of SSO. It's the fastest I think I've ever written something, and a lot of it is down to these fabulous new performance patches. But I'm going to show you what I did. I improvised some stuff in onto the piano, and then I orchestrated out from there. So I'll just show you a couple of the ideas that I've used and how I've expanded this material out. We'll start with the piano though, and it sounds like this. Oh, and when I played this in, it was all at 74 BPM. So, and I was just quantizing everything. So there was no kind of movement around the tempo track. We'll talk about that in a sec. But here's the piano. Okay, there we go. Right, so there's some nice ideas in there. It sounds a bit plonky, obviously. No real finesse or refinement. I'm just kind of smashing the idea down as kind of fast as I can. What we'll do is we'll follow through the music again, but I'll play the finished demo, and you can see from the piano to the orchestra, and then we'll dive in and I'll show you just a few of the ideas in more detail. Okay, so starting at the beginning, in the piano you can see we've got this this idea right at the top. So as you can see, I've taken each of the parts, the kind of 3-part piano thing, and I've put them onto the first, the seconds, and the violas, and then the cellos I've just brought in to kind of add a little bit of kind of thickness to the sound. But those all together sound. And you can see where the violas leap up, the cellos just carry on going down, which kind of gives you that nice kind of divergent feel. And in terms of the transitions that I'm using, if I just show you on the cellos. It's all just the fingered transitions. Mix-wise, I've got the outriggers at full and then the tree a little bit lower, just to give me that slightly wider sound. The tree can tend to dominate if you have that at full volume, and then a bit of the close mics in there just so you can hear a little bit more of the players. There's some kind of standard orchestration around that, so when we hit the end of that note, you know, there's a few things I've put in there. We've got a tubular bell, we've got a little thing on the celestes. What else have we got? Bass drum, a little bit of the tam-tam, crotales. Really have gone for it. What's going on in the brass section? Well, actually, if we just highlight these, you can see I've got a nice wide chord, and if I solo those tracks, very straightforward. I've also deliberately not used the root at the bottom, so you have that kind of nice feeling of portent. That's a good word, like that. What else have I put in there? We've got the cor anglais and the bassoons coming in. So if I just take this solo off, so if we hear from that chord. And those, if we want to hear those soloed. And again, I'm just using the performance patch. I'm using a little bit of, if we just look at the oboe on its own, you'll see that I'm using vibrato. And I'm doing that to change the colour of each chord. So just listen again and hear where the vibrato is and where it cuts out. So you can do that during the note. You can do it as you change note, as I've done here. It's really very flexible, and you can. It's another dimension of musicality, it's another dimension of the kind of sound that you're getting and what function that note is performing in the overall piece. Okay, so what's going on here? You can see I'm using the trems, the consort trems in the violin twos from the All Techniques patch, and that gives you that kind of lovely. It's got that nice kind of mysterious, slightly threatening sound, but because it's the consort, because it's the muted, it's not, you know, it's just a little bit gentler. And I like the match of that with these flute sounds and clarinet sounds, with the alto flute and the clarinets together. If we just look at those. What I've tried to do is I've tried to go for a contrast here. So I'm putting all the reed stuff first, Then I'm moving across, well, I suppose, the double reed stuff first, let's say. The oboes, the cor anglais, bassoon. And then when we move across, the clarinets always kind of seem to blend really nicely with the flute body. So you have that stuff here. And then you can see again, I'm really, really using vibrato to shape the emotion of the chords as you land on a different chord, and that's sort of taking you into a change. So I've deliberately gone non-vib for that moment, and then once you're in that change and it starts to move forward again, you start to get a little bit of the vibrato back. It's just a really great way of getting, like I say, putting moments into the music where something is changing. What have we got down here? The Celeste starts to do these lovely sprinkles as well. These kind of spread chords. And again, it's the they're kind of doubling up with between the woodwinds and the Celeste. You're getting that really nice kind of color. And what I've tried to do is I've tried to just use lots of different contrasts to show the different kind of areas of the orchestra in this demo. Now, where the trumpets come in, you can see here I'm just using the lower dynamics, and I'm using 2 of these total performance patches in here. And just using them as kind of trumpet 1 and trumpet 2. So just have a quick listen to where they come in. Let's just get them both up there. And here I've got that idea from the score where I had that nice clash with the F major chord against the E minor modality, and the kind of, you've got that B natural with the F major. If I just play that on the piano. I love that sound. So I've kind of orchestrated that into this moment. So just to play that again and have a listen out for that. So we're at bar. And even just to be a completely extra about it, I really lean into it and just push everything. So you have that nice swell, just to really make the most of it, so it doesn't sound like an accident. It's intentional. We've got this lovely area here where the strings are doing this kind of nice, almost medieval kind of pattern. Let me just play a bit of this. I love that chord change. That's really gives me that kind of feel of the Tudor kind of period. But when you use these other instruments here to kind of add to the texture there, I'll just play what they're playing at the same time. So if we solo flute, cor anglais, bass clarinet and horns. So when you add that stuff in, you get the idea. It's just adding a bit of colour to the movements of the chords with these single lines. And the way I always try to make sure that if I'm writing a line for an individual instrument, that I'm thinking of that on its own. And trying to think of a line that sounds natural for the player. And interesting. You want the individual parts that the players are playing to be interesting, so that the overall thing has lots of nice character in there. And then the brass at the end. Let's just have a quick listen to this in solo. So when we hear that in context with what's gone before, that's the strings are playing the kind of end of the piece, and these brass instruments are adding the kind of the how do you describe it? The kind of it's not finished yet. There's a few more things going on, and then we kind of settle. The best way to describe it is just to play it. And you've got the bass clarinet sitting at the bottom there as well. Just have a quick listen to. Yeah, you can hear the real kind of rich, thick, chocolatey sound that you get from the bass clarinet there. It really gives a lot of weight to the brass sound. Interesting how you can blend these different instruments. At their different dynamics, you can get really different effects. So that's a quick look through this. I'll just play it once more now at the end, and I'll kind of highlight a few of the sections. Oh, we didn't talk about tempo. I've just done a conductor track here where, for example, it goes to its kind of highest, one of its highest points here, where you're in this section. So it's a few BPM faster at that point, but I'm really just kind of riding it and just trying to feel where it might start to pick up a little bit and where it might hold back, and then trying to match that with no huge movements, just movements, it's probably the widest range. What have we got? We go down to 73. I don't think we go low. Oh, it's 72, obviously, as we're getting towards the end. But most of the action is between kind of 73 and 77. So they're not massive movements, but it just all adds to the feeling of the piece breathing. Okay, so let's have a listen through, and I'll highlight some sections as we go. So thanks very much for watching. Hope there was some useful information in there you can take away and use in your own compositions. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye bye.